Okay, so you're thinking about moving to Eugene, Oregon. That's great to hear. Now, before you do, I want to tell you all the pros and cons that I can think of. And primarily because, to be honest, there are some cons. And I think you'll want to stick around to the end for one of the most compelling ones. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's start with the pros. The location. Location. Eugene is in a really special spot. So Eugene is in the top of the Willamette Valley. So when I say top, technically it's on the southernmost part of the valley. So you think of that as being the bottom, but the Willamette River is one of the few rivers in the country that flows from the south to the north. Most rivers kind of drain out towards the south. Now the Willamette flows from the south to the north. So what that means is that Eugene, being at the southern end of the valley, is at the top of the valley. So you're getting the much cleaner water in Eugene than you are at the bottom of the valley, like in Portland, where it's had the whole valley's worth of runoff, ag runoff, civilization runoff, whatever. So you get much cleaner water. And the primary source of the water is the Willamette River, which ultimately comes up from Oak Ridge down through the mountains, and you get that beautiful, clean, clear Cascade water that everybody dreams about. So water in Oregon in general is the main reason that people are going to be migrating to the Northwest for a long time to come and leaving these kind of desert places like Arizona or Nevada that are, in LA, quite frankly, that are just going to run out of water. So anyways, all that to say, Eugene has some of the best, cleanest water in a city that you can get in the country. Okay, let's keep talking about this location. You're about an hour and a half from pretty much amazing coast spots. You can get to the coast within an hour. It's not like your classic California coast where everybody's laying out in bikinis, but the Oregon coast is something special. And if you haven't been there, it's the ultimate experience of rock hounding, storm watching. You can even do some whale watching. It's a really special place. So if you go west, you get to the ocean. If you go east, you get to the mountains. And then you can go upriver, up the Willamette to Oak Ridge, where you have world-class mountain biking, amazing hiking into the Three Sisters Wilderness, just so much exploring, whitewater rafting. You can go up the Mackenzie. Again, talk about the best water in Oregon. You got the Mackenzie River right there. You've got the land of abundance is the Willamette Forest. The Willamette National Forest is the most productive forest in Oregon in terms of board feet of lumber. Okay, next up, this is one of my personal favorites, is the growing gardening climate here in Oregon, here in Eugene. I mean, granted, we're not in California, you can't grow anything, but you can sure grow lots. People have lemons, they got citrus. Sometimes they'll have, they'll be in a greenhouse or something. But I've had friends come from back east and they're just amazed. One, the fertility of the soil. The Missoula floods brought in all this world-class soil. That's a story for another time. But the amazing soil coupled with the amazing gardening climate is not to be beat. You've got a world-class farmers market in Eugene with vendors from all over. The local food production here really can't be beat. And the gardening climate, the growing climate, again, you'll be eating locally, very high quality, pretty much year round. Pro number 3, the river path. Okay, so years ago, this incredible woman, Ruth Bascom, she basically set aside land along the Willamette River. It was even used as like the trash. People used to dump cars, it used to be the dump. She had all this land. She set it aside as public easement. I mean, talk about a visionary. And truly, this river path is world class. You have biking, walking, parks, everything, nature. I mean, it is so special. And if you live near the river path, you can get to so many places in Eugene via your bicycle, your skateboard, your electric bike, to walk, and you don't have to interact with cars. I mean, the river path is probably one of my favorite aspects of Eugene. So if you haven't been aware of it, I highly recommend you check it out. I'll do a walking tour sometime so you can really see what the river path is all about. Yeah, it is such a treasure. Pro number 4 is the spring, summer, fall weather. That's a little bit of a foreshadowing of one of the cons. But spring in Oregon is honestly one of my favorite places. When everything's in bloom, I mean, Eugene in itself is basically an arboretum. There's all kinds of flowering trees. From the first signs of spring when you see the crocuses coming up or you see the camellias blooming, all the way to the magnolias covering all the trees. I mean, it's a sight to behold. And so if you can come in the spring and really get a sense of just the magic. You know, you've been through the hard, dark winter where it's dark and bleak and gray and rainy and wet, cold. But you come back to the spring and everything's alive and verdant and lush and all the flowers out. Everybody's out. Farmers market's going. It's a really special time of the year. The summers are amazing. They're not too hot. You can still swim in the river. You can go have all your adventures around Oregon. Summers in Oregon, it's like blackberry pie. You go pick the wild blackberries and make pie. I mean, that's it. Picnics. It's just, you can't beat it. And then the fall, I mean, we can have some amazing falls here in Eugene. Basically, sometimes the rains won't set in until like Thanksgiving, and you'll just get these fantastic, you get the maples turning when you drive out, say, towards the McKenzie or Oak Ridge, and you get that, like, it's not quite Vermont per se. We don't have as many hardwoods, but it's still magical. The fall, mushroom hunting coming on. I mean, it's a really special time of the year. Okay, pro number 5 is, and there's a lot of deliberation on this one, but I finally settled on everything you need in a city in a small town package. So Eugene has everything you need, whether you want to get to the arts, you want to get to world-class athletics through the U of O, whether you want to get fine dining. Eugene has it all, but it has it in a 15-minute driving package where you can pretty much get anywhere in Eugene within 15 minutes. You really can't beat it. So you've got all the arts and culture, people, access to everything, and then you're in this cozy little town in Oregon. It's pretty tough to beat. It's a great, great, great place to retire. Truly. Okay, so we did the pros. Now let's talk about the cons. This might be more fun to talk about. Let's be real. It's always fun to complain about stuff. So number 1, and this is a very challenging issue nationwide, but Eugene, I think, has been ranked number 1 in certain times for did you guess it? What's your guess? The homeless population. Yeah, this is a really, really challenging issue. You'll hear people that say, oh, I'm fine with the homeless population. I've come to terms with it. And quite frankly, I understand that, but I don't believe that's the right approach. I think our town, Eugene, one of the most amazing attributes of it is the compassion that people have, the heart that people have here. And I truly believe that the way we care for our people, our citizens, whether they're housed or unhoused, reflects, what we're doing. And we need to care for these people in a better way. Now, I'm not saying I have the solution, but the biggest challenge, having this challenge of people being unhoused is, significant. And yeah, it wears on you seeing it, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't affect me. Honestly, I really want to support anybody who has ideas and initiatives to solve this problem, and I think we should all rally around that. How do we care for our unhoused population properly with compassion, discipline, and help them ascend up to a meaningful purpose in life and treat them as equals, not as less thans? So it's a big, challenging issue. Eugene has it more than anyone, and I hope that we can improve it. If you have any ideas, leave them in the comments below. Okay, con number 2. We talked about the spring, the summer, the fall weather. Let's talk about the winter weather. Ooh, the winters can be rough in Eugene and the Northwest in general, especially west of the Cascades, where you get basically west of the Cascades. The Cascades are like the dividing mountain line, the mountain range that runs north and south. It's all the volcanoes. It's like Mount Hood, Mount Jefferson, Mount Shasta, Three Sisters. They're all volcanoes, little pimples on Earth that are waiting to pop. And to the west of it, it's wet. To the east of it, it's dry. So on the west side, it's an abundant, verdant, lush place. Sometimes you get places 30, 40 inches of rain a year, which is about Eugene. Then you go up the Mackenzie, the magical, lush wonderland. It's 80 inches of rain a year. You get over east to Bend, and it's 14 inches of rain a year, right? So you see that gradient. Basically, the winter weather on the west side of the Cascades, the wet side of the Cascades, is rough. It's gray, it's bleak, it's rainy. You don't see the sun as much as you want. You'll find yourself out and about on a rainy day, and you'll see a patch of blue sky, and you look to somebody and you say, oh my God, look at this beautiful weather today. That's how you know you gotta get to Mexico for a little bit, or you gotta go south, or you gotta go to your sauna. You need a sauna. If there's one thing that the wet side of the Cascades needs, is a sauna. When it's 34 degrees and just wet, it just chills you to your core. There's a couple things. You need a sauna, and you need to embrace wool. Don't be messing around with those microplastic clothings, Lululemon fake things. Get yourself some wool. Wrap yourself what a sheep wraps themselves with. Do it right. Get some wool, get a sauna, eat some soup, and there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. It's true. Get yourself some wool, get yourself a nice water repellent jacket, some good boots. I'm talking knee-high muck boots, whatever you like. Good hat, you're all right. Okay, winter weather, you can deal with it. Con number 3, the allergies. I myself have been blessed to not get the allergies, but by virtue of being at the top of the valley, you get this effect where a lot of the crud from the valley rises to the top, and that crud can often be pollen. The Willamette Valley is one of the biggest producers of grass seed in the world. And what do you get with all that grass seed production? You get pollen, my friend. And so Eugene gathers it. And if you're allergic to pollen, it can work you. Oh man, I know some people that have had to actually move away because the pollen's so bad. So that is definitely something to be aware of. And I know some people that will literally go travel during really that May, June high pollen season, just to escape it. They'll get to the coast, they'll go wherever, go to a basement, a bunker, whatever you gotta do. So if the pollen affects you, be prepared. Okay, con number 4. This is one, it's interesting. Oregon, Eugene especially, is not diverse. We have a lot of white people, but there is a diversity of white people. And I joke about it, but I'd like to make a 50 Shades of White people in Eugene because, quite frankly, there are a ton of different kinds of white people here. But anyways, there's not nearly the diversity that you get if you go to San Francisco, you go to New York, and with all the amazing cuisines that come from that culture's diversity, the vibrancy of it. Eugene's white, and hopefully we can find a way to become more diverse in the future. We've come a long ways from there's some pretty gnarly laws in place. There were sundown laws. I can do a whole video on it. Eugene has a troubled history, to say the least, and we're on the right trend and sorting it all out. But we got a long ways to go in terms of becoming more diverse. So it's definitely a welcoming place, and we just need more diversity. Okay, con number 5. Con number 5 is, what's your guess? It is the smoke in the summertime now. This is becoming more and more significant. I've been here since 2012, and honestly, I think it was 2016 where it really started. They turned on the smoke. So wildfires are becoming a bigger and bigger problem in the Northwest, as everybody knows. The West, really. The West is getting drier, and as a result, it's, the forests are burning and burning hotter and burning more intense, and as a result, you're getting more and more smoke. And I remember one of the years, it might have been 2017, where we had pretty much at least 3 weeks straight of just apocalyptic smoke, where you're riding your bike, the sun is orange, everything. It was wild. I wear a mask, I wear a buff, put that on. It doesn't bother me, but if I don't wear a mask and it's smoky out, you'll get that front of your head headache from the smoke. And so it's not, you don't want to be out in it. So that's definitely something to be aware of. You can almost count on August and or September, one of those months having smoke in it or more. But really August, September is pretty much, you can count on some smoke. So it's good to plan travel. It's good to just be prepared for that. You know, have your like kind of HEPA filter system for your house, but smoke season is becoming a reality of Eugene. The good thing about being in Eugene during smoke season, it's probably not going to burn down. You know, if you live in the woods, you know, my place, McKenzie Bridge, we've had time. I've been watching a wildfire that's literally half a mile from my place, quarter mile from my place. I'm just watching it. It's wild. Watching the helicopters dip from the McKenzie River, fly over my place and drop it on the fire. Everybody evacuated. I mean, it can be pretty wild. So it's no joke. Eugene's a safe place as far as burning. It won't burn down, but the smoke's oppressive. And so be prepared for that. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed these top 5 pros and cons of Eugene. As always, if you'd like to move to Eugene, you're looking for a place, I'm a licensed realtor. I like to think of myself as an expert here, and I would love to help you find a home here. So please reach out, call or text anytime. It's never an inconvenience. I always love to hear from you. Even if you're not going to move for another year or two, let's have a chat. Let's figure out what you're looking for, and we can definitely make that happen. And if you've gotten value from this video, make sure you send it to a friend, and also hit that like and subscribe button, help grow the channel. And I'm Luke Callahan, and I'll see you in the next video.